It's a brand new day, let's teach your way. It's time for Musicplay.
Welcome back to the Musicplay Minutes podcast. This episode is also available as a webinar with a handout and a PD certificate. All extra resources, including visual examples mentioned in this episode, can be found at workshops.musicplay.ca. Ho, ho, ho! 'Twas the last week of school and every student was abuzz. In this episode, Denise Gagne and Stacy Werner have fun and engaging activities to share that will help get you through the final weeks.
Hi, I'm Denise. I'm here today to share some ideas of what you can do after your holiday concert is over or just for fun in your December music classes. So one of our first go-tos when we are tired and we need something is to go to a video. Instead of just going to YouTube, have a look at our listening units. So I'm up here in listening, I'm here in units, and we have all these beautiful composer videos: Bach's Fight for Freedom, Beethoven Lives Upstairs, Bizet's Dream, Rossini's Ghost, and Handel's Messiah. Each of these is a 50-minute made for HBO special. They're wonderful video quality. They're professional productions that were made for HBO, and we've made incredibly beautiful worksheets for each of them. So if you're simply looking for a day of rest or an activity for a sub, these composer videos are great. I would show Handel every year to my fourth grade because I would teach my fourth grade Hallelujah chorus, and this tied in really, really well because the end of the video is a performance of Hallelujah chorus in period costume, period instruments. It's really, really well done. So that might be something that you want to do with all your classes, is share a composer video, go through the worksheet packages with them. Next thing that I suggest you consider doing is what I call review and request. And I would do this as a reward day after 10 positive classes. So whatever grade level you're doing this with, if I'm doing this with first grade, I would probably pull up the song list and read these out to the kids to remind them of all the things that we've done this year. And hopefully you remember what songs you've done with the classes. And as they see them, you get them to request their favorites. And then you teach as many of their favorites as you can. If you have 3 periods, you can make a big long list and take 3 periods to go through all of them. If you only have 1 period, you might have to do a let's vote for our favorites, which is always a little fraught when you do this with elementary age kids. But review and request is one of my favorite activities to do after the concert is over and before a major holiday. In fact, I often do this before every holiday, before Easter break or spring break. Another activity that I really like to do every break is instrument bingo. And instrument bingo is here in the game section. I especially wanted to do that with my 3rd, 4th, 5th, because when they start in band, I want them to know what those instruments look like, what those instruments sound like. If you're doing it in class, do the 2-player version, choose which game you want, choose an avatar for each team, and then you play. This is team 1's guess. Oh, I'm doing classroom bingo instead of instrument. And that is a tambourine. There we go. I'm going to switch to instrument bingo for my 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. And I'll choose like those 2 avatars. And now I play the instrument, and team 1 has to take turns answering what the instrument that is. And that would be the violin. I get a point. Now it's the other side's turn. You can either do individual students, which makes them a little more accountable, or you can just have the kids help each other out. There is another option here as well, and that's to print out the instrument bingo cards. I always like my kids to do this in pairs rather than individually. A strong student paired with a weak, so they help them out. But you can use all the sounds from the instrument bingo and have the kids use the individual cards. And wonderful Serge has translated them into French as well as in English. In addition to instrument bingo, there is all these interactive games that are great. If you have classroom devices, this might be, again, a nice reward. You get to choose on the iPad which of the games you want to play and give everybody a turn to play or play in pairs. or play as a class. Play all of them. They're lots of fun. There are more games in units. So if I go to games and centers in the units, I have floor staff games and 4 quarters rhythm. And I think I have a rhythm race game in here as well, where kids make 2 teams or 3 or 4 teams and race to the whiteboard, write down the rhythm that you planned. Those kinds of games, again, are really fun. They're a great reward day activity, and they're a great activity to use before the holidays. Give yourself a little bit of a planning break and just plan to play games. Now, if I go into units as well, the festivals and holidays, or I can choose festivals and holidays, and then I'm looking for happy holidays. And happy holidays, just by itself, has a million ideas for you to do after your concert is over. So the first 2 are concert etiquette wraps, and that's intended for your concert. But then we start on things that are lots of fun. Caroling videos. If your school does a school-wide caroling thing, we've made the videos for you. Press play, sing along. The holiday song parodies. I'm doing right now, or Lisa's doing, Jingle Bells, Batman Spells, and Deck the Halls with Poison Ivy with our Rudyard Children's Choir, grades 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I have to say, these are by far their favorite songs. So you have them here. You have accompaniment tracks you can download. And I think I have to build a program around these because they're really quite fun. Holiday solfa and rhythm activities, I'm going to come back because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new ones, 5 new ones here that are really, really good for centers activities. And I'll come back to those. We have Jingle Bells. Jingle Bells has become a controversial song. Read about it, decide if you want to do it in your school or you want to skip it. Holiday orc arrangements are here. These are all for your littles. These 2 are challenge pieces for your older kids. So if you really want to dig in and do some orc playing, teach them the Carol of the Bells. That is fun. They've been translated into French for our French schools. We have listening glyphs and play-alongs for Deck the Halls, Jolly Old St. Nicholas play-alongs, and a rhythm composition worksheet. We Wish You a Merry Christmas play-alongs, a cup game of 7s. That's fun to do. It Came Upon a Midnight Clear, a listening glyph, a scarf activity. Carol of the Bells, a compare to arrangements, compare to styles. And then we have a whole wealth of other play-along activities, holiday listening activities. The one with the one that's in the Nutcracker of the Sugar Plum Fairy is really quite interesting to do. So I'm going to go back to the 4th section where we have solfa activities and go through some of these. So this word rhythm sort center came up because a teacher posted on Musicplay Teachers Group on Facebook her students, a photo of her students playing a memory game. And I have to say it was just adorable. This is the photo. She's got the cards turned over. She's using the music rug that I helped design, a noteworthy music rug. And her students are taking turns trying to make pairs. I've actually made the version I put on here a little bit easier, I think. So the class memory game, what you do is print and cut out all the cards. Give each student in turn 1 try to make a match. To make a pair, the student must match the word rhythm with the rhythm notation. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 picture words, and there's 4 rhythms. So if they choose cards, they have to find ta, rest. So the odds are actually pretty good that they're going to make a match because there's 4 matches for every word. Here's the 2 quarter note words: snowman, presents, reindeer, stockings. And you would want to go over these words with the kids before you play the game. What's this one, class? Gingerbread. It would be a tee-tee-ta. Icicles. Tee-tee-ta. Ornaments. And then we have cold weather. Lights twinkling. Choir singing. Ice skating. And then ugly sweaters. I actually am going to change that to silly sweaters at the request of one of our teachers. Decorations, milk and cookies, going shopping. So you can do these as a memory game, as the teacher did in the picture. You can also use these for centers. So if you're using them for centers, don't include the rhythm cards. Instead, at the center, put out the rhythm sort pages. So they would find, the kids at the center would have 10 to 15 minutes to find all the word rhythm cards that match this rhythm, place it on this page. This rhythm, this rhythm, this rhythm. So again, you just take this PDF, you print everything out, and you start cutting. And the cuts are easy because we've done them right to the edge of the page. And then I've given a rhythm sort key and said, don't peek until you've completed your rhythm sort. So they can check their answers and see how they did. I've also put in here 2-beat rhythms that you can use to compose. I would suggest that you have the children choose 4 of those. So if they chose, let's say they chose, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So ta, 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 sh, ta, sh. Or you can have them use all of them if you wish. But this could be a separate center where they take these 2-beat rhythms, create a 4-beat rhythm, and figure out body percussion, or they figure out instruments that they can play along. So I really, really like these, and I've done them in a way that it's not Santa or Christmas specific. It's pretty general. Now, that's the holiday rhythms. I also did a Hanukkah word rhythms, games, and centers in the same place with Hanukkah words. So you can have one center that's December holidays, a little bit more Christmassy in feel, and one that's Hanukkah. And the same activities are given here. They can do this as a rhythm sort. You could play this as a memory game. There's not quite as many here, so I think it would be a better center than a memory game. Then I made some worksheets for us. So I've done the same kind of rhythm thing in a worksheet format. And here I've given the options of Santa, December, or Christmas. Santa is schools that can talk about Christmas and Mrs. Claus and Santa Claus. December is for schools that don't. Snowflakes, snow, fruitcake, snowman. And then 4 are schools that can talk about Christmas. We've got Mary, Baby Jesus, Love, Advent, and things like that. So these are all similar in format. And what I have done, actually, I'm going to be replacing these so that there's coloring underneath as well. So this could actually take pretty much a 30-minute class for the kids to figure out which rhythms go where and color those rhythms. So I think that's a wealth of ideas right there for your after the concert for holiday classes. I'm Denise Gagne. Thanks so much for sharing. I hope you have a very happy holiday and a really happy new year.
So I was going to share with you just some really quick ideas and things that you can do in your classroom. I am a full-time music teacher as well who has my concert next week. And these are some ideas that I will be using with my students coming towards the end of next week. And then we actually go right till the 22nd of December this year. So the first activity I want to share with you is the holiday circle game. And this one is just really, really easy and just really fun, gets the kids up and moving. I actually read about this one on the Musicplay teachers page a couple years ago, and I could not find who to credit this activity with because it's a lot of fun. So what you do is you can pick any holiday song that you want to use for this. So whatever's appropriate for your school and community. You make 2 circles on either side of your classroom, and each circle has a bell. And one student starts with the bell, and they play their bell 3 times, then pass it on to the next person. And I try to encourage them to keep the beat, but sometimes for this, it's just fun and gets them going. And then I pause the music, and whoever is holding the bell in each of the circles swaps circles. So the 2 students, once the 2 students holding the bell in each of the circles goes and trades circles. And then we play again. And that person starts with the bell and continues to pass it around the circle, pause the music, they run, and they switch circles again. And I try to purposely pause the music so that every child will get eventually a turn to run. Some of them are really quick passing that bell, even though they're supposed to shake it 3 times, but I try my best to get every kid to run at least 1 time. And they really enjoyed that game. And that game was really fun and easy with like kindergarten and grade 1. And then the next activity I put in the PowerPoint for today is something that I would do with older students. I would do this grade 3 or higher. So it's the 12 Days of Christmas. And I broke it up so that the students have to try and match the rhythm more with the song, because I find sometimes when the kids just get a worksheet that just says a line across, it's really hard for them to fit the words into the actual song. And it's really fun to see what the kids come up with. So this could be a whole class activity, or you could do this as a center. And that's going to be available on the holiday unit section, I believe, and also linked with the notes in this webinar. And then the next activity is just a really easy game. This one's called Music Bump. And what I like about these types of activities is you can just print these out and they're ready to go. They're just on 1 page. So if you need something really fast to do, you will need some music dice for this though. And so if you don't have music dice, it's really quick to find just some little wooden square pieces from a dollar store and quickly write on the dice what you need. Or Denise also does sell some rhythm dice with her rhythm dice game there. They're a little bit hard to see on there. So what the students do is they roll the dice, and whatever rhythm they roll, they're going to take a marker and put their colored marker over top of the space. So I have, wherever I put them, I do have some colored markers where one side or bingo chips where one side they're red and the other side they're yellow. And so I tell the kids just to pick red side or yellow side. And then if the student rolls the same one that is already marked with a bingo chip, they can bump them off. But then if they get 2 of their colors on, it's now their circle. And then they continue to play until they use all 8 of their markers or bingo chips. And the first one to do that is the winner. And then the harder level, they have to add the value of the rhythms in 4/4 time together. So for example, if they rolled a taw and a taw, they would cover number 2. If they rolled a whole note and a half note, then they would cover number 6. And then the same rules. Once they get 2 of their bingo chips on, it's their square for good, their circle for good. And if they only have 1 there, they can bump the other person off. And the first person in this one to get 10 of their bingo chips or markers onto the page wins the game. So this will also be available, I believe, in some of the center sections on Musicplay. And that's a nice, easy, quick one to print out. And if you can borrow something, I found my bingo chips. You can borrow some bingo chips from some of your teachers as well. So these ones here, they're really nice because they're red on one side and yellow on the other side. But you could also just use cut up pieces of paper or any other bingo chips or just small pieces that you have available. All right, and then the next activity, this one is just really fun and easy for a center. So again, all these activities you could do as a whole class or you could do as a center. This one was a big hit with my grade 3s, 2, 3s, and 4s last year. I just got a big bin of Lego and I told them to start building instruments and to focus in on percussion instruments, things that they can hit, shake, or scrape. And they came up with some awesome ideas. The boy on the left there, he came up with a way to make almost like cymbals. And then the girl on the right side there, she came up with a way that you can scrape and make some sounds. And, you could continue this on and have the kids play rhythm patterns or create their own song using their Lego instrument. I just had it as a short 7-8 minute center, and whatever they came up with. We just kept it relaxed and easy during that time. And then the next activity is from the Super Simple Music Centers book. And this one is just, again, if you have it ready to go, it's really simple and really easy. And I put mine inside of, I have a whole bunch of old containers that were used for tennis balls. And so I can put the cards inside there. And you can set a different level. The book includes multiple levels of rhythms. So the level I have here right now is what I would consider a late grade 1, grade 2 level. And so some of the cards are like ta, 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 rest. And what the kids do is they pick out a card and they clap it. And if they clap it correctly, they keep the card. But and then they continue to add to their pile of cards. But if they get one of the other cards, there's some different directions on here of things they can do. So the one says, I can steal a rhythm card from another player. If you get the black hole card, you have to put all your cards back into the container. I believe there's another one too, where you can trade a rhythm. So there's just different things to do on the cards. And so the kids do have to be able to read for this activity, to be able to read what's on the cards, or might need a little bit of assistance with those. So I usually do it with my later grade 1s. They can figure this one out, and grade 2s and grade 3s have really enjoyed this activity. And then the levels go up to grade 4 and grade 5. So even though it says it's just for grade 2 and 3, you could play this with higher grade levels as well. Now, to simplify this activity, a very similar game is called Busted. And so what I do for this game is I have a bunch of popsicle sticks inside of another one of these tennis ball containers. And I just wrote very basic grade 1 rhythms on the popsicle sticks, like TTs, Twas, and rests. And then some of the popsicle sticks, they busted on them. So what they do is they pull one of the sticks out of the container. And I got a TT. So then I put that down in front of me. I clap and say TT. Next person goes. Pulls out a stick out of the container. They clap whatever rhythm they get. But if they get, I'm going to find one here today. They get a stick that says busted. I'm not finding any here today. They get a stick that says busted. They have to put all their sticks back into the container. And then I just say the winner is whoever has the most sticks at the end of the time. And that's just a really easy game to play again with the younger ones with grade 1. And then I've also modified this game to use with Lego pieces again. I had a whole bunch of extra Duplo Lego. So instead of using the popsicle sticks, they can just start stacking a tower and clap the rhythms on their tower. And then if they get the Lego piece that says busted, they have to put all their Lego pieces back. And I just used a bag for that one, but you could use a box or something else too. All right. And then the next activity is included in the Super Simple Music Center's book. And this is also a great template for writing out melodies. But I picked this activity for today because it's just a quick one that you can print out and use really fast. So you would need to make some sort of dice that have the notes on it first that you want to use in whatever pentatonic scale that you're using. So if you want to do it in C, you need the notes C, D, E, G, and A. And then I also put a high C there to fill up the 6 pieces on the dice. And then pretty much just following the instructions on the template. And you could go as hard as having the kids write it on the musical staff, or just have them write the notes to match the rhythm, and then try that on any melodic instrument you have available in your classroom. And then the next one is called Sound Shape Creations. And this one also is just very quick and easy because you just have to print the cards and have a bin of instruments ready to go. And all the kids need to do for this center is just come up with a way to play the pictures that they see. So they could come up with an instrument for the rain and the lightning and the sun and the stars, and then just kind of work together as a group. And I usually use this one as a center, but you could do it as a whole class activity as well. And included in the book is an empty one as well, where the students can draw their own and try playing their own. And then our next activity, also included in the Super Simple Music Centers, is some listening glyphs. And the audio is included in the Super Simple Music Centers book, so it does give you some options. But pretty much the students just color what they hear. So there's one here that has a snowman on it that would work very nicely for this time of year. I guess depending on where you live, where I am right now, we're on our first day of outside recesses in over a week, as it's been minus 20 degrees or lower. So our kids are getting pretty antsy. And then the next activity is using Play-Doh. And so there's 2 different levels of Play-Doh mats that are included in the different center kits. And so one has bigger notes, and I use this one with K and 1. And all they need to do for this is just use Play-Doh to make the notes. And it's just a good little review and a chance for them to experience different music symbols. If you don't have time to laminate this in the next week, you can just put it inside one of those plastic sheet protectors, and that will work as well. And I just have, with my school budget at the start of the year, Play-Doh is just one thing I just get right away. And I try to have enough that they're not sharing too much of the Play-Doh. As we know, many germs are going around right now, and I always make sure they wash their hands before and after they play at this center. And then for the older kids is the next one. And this one, they have to build the entire musical staff on their Play-Doh sheet. And so this one keeps them busy because it's a lot of pieces to put on there. And they do need the bigger containers of Play-Doh for this one usually to get it all on the paper. Oh, I just wrote in a couple other really easy ideas just to keep you busy. My kids always love to watch a recording of their concert, and I included a concert self-evaluation that you could do or you could not do, or you could just discuss it after. And that will be available on Musicplay Online. I know Denise also mentioned about doing the holiday sing-alongs on Musicplay Online. And this is also a great time of year if you have students that want to share what they've learned in piano lessons or any instrument activity that they do outside of school to play, and just do like a sharing day with your kids. And then another fun one, if you're up for it, is to get paper plates and have the kids skate on paper plates and just make a fun obstacle course and just put on some fun holiday music, and they work through the different obstacle courses. I just go into the gym and borrow some pylons and some hula hoops and different things for them to try with the paper plates and just make a fun little course for them. All right. So I hope that's helpful.
We don't have our schedule yet for 2023 for webinars and everything. So if you have any ideas or anything that you would like to see in the webinars, please either send me an email, carrylyn@musicplay.ca, or support@musicplay.ca, and we will put that into our schedule because it's not built yet. So your ideas are great. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a wonderful evening. Bye.
Thank you for sharing your time with us today. If you would like to earn a PD certificate for this episode, download the accompanying handout, or watch the webinar, please go to workshops.musicplay.ca. Happy holidays, and we'll see you in 2023.
It's time.